Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about applying and wear testing the new Natasha Denona Hy-Glam foundation. I'm so excited to show you this. I wore this yesterday because I did want to give it a whirl before I came on here to talk about this foundation to you, and I wore it for over 12 hours and I do have some things to say. The claims of this foundation are a mile long, so instead of reading them out to you, this is what you need to know in a nutshell. This foundation costs $52 US, $73 Canadian. You get 30 ml or 1 fluid ounce in this bottle. It was formulated in Korea, made in Italy. It comes in 52 shades that are precisely matched to the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam concealer line. It is a radiant serum foundation meant for all skin types, from dry to oily and anything in between. It has a medium buildable coverage. It is talc free and self-setting. Lightweight, blurring, hydrating, creaseless with 18-hour wear. So that is the nitty-gritty on the claims of this foundation. I have normal skin most of the time. Sometimes I can get dry, sometimes I can get oily in the T-zone, but not always. It depends on the time of year. Currently, at this moment, my skin is normal. Okay, let's take a quick look at the bottle. Beautiful frosted glass. It's very nice looking. Nothing out of this world, if you ask me. It's a nice foundation bottle. Let's shake it up because you're supposed to shake well. And I'm just going to apply it to my hand first, just so you can see the consistency of it. One pump here. And it's a nice, runny, lightweight consistency, which I love. This is how I prefer my foundations. I chose shade N7 because that's what I wear in the concealer, and Natasha Denona made it pretty easy to choose your shade in this foundation if you already have a match in the concealer. So this spreads so beautifully, and you can see the finish on that. Most importantly, we're going to have to see what it looks like on the face. I mean, what a match, right? This is such a good match. Now, if you don't already use the Natasha Denona concealer and don't know which shade would be for you, if you go to the Natasha Denona website, she has a really comprehensive quiz that you can take to help you figure out what your shade would be if you're starting from scratch and you have no idea. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'm going to pump a little bit more on the back of my hand, and what I want to do is swatch the concealer that I have in N7 next to it, just so you can see the difference in the shades, because although they are perfectly matched, N7 to N7, you will notice that the concealer is slightly lighter, slightly brighter. It's a little bit more yellow in the N7. This is the concealer here, and this is the foundation. But together, when I wore these yesterday, seamless, beautiful, beautiful match. I, for some reason, expected them to be identical, but it does make sense that the concealer might be just a tad brighter, just for that brightness under the eye. Currently on my face, I have my morning skincare. That is all. I have the Natasha Denona Color Corrector in C2 and the concealer in N7, as I mentioned. I have my shadow on today as well, and I use the Natasha Denona Mini Gloom palette for that today. Okay, so when I test out a new foundation, I like to try it in as many different ways as possible. Yesterday, I did this same thing. I only prime one side of my face in order to see if it makes a difference or not. On this side of my face, I'm going to apply my Tom Ford Soft Matte Primer. This is a brand new bottle because I just finished my other one yesterday, and that'll be in an empties video that should be coming out really, really soon. So I'm going to apply the primer on this side of my face. I'm not going to apply anything on this side of my face. I did do this same thing yesterday, and spoiler alert, it made absolutely zero difference to the longevity of the foundation, to the finish of the foundation, to anything. I looked identical on both sides of my face, but I wanted to do it again, just another test in this way so that you're able to see it for yourself. This would be my primer of choice if I'm using a primer, because I love the way it smooths my skin, and also it plays well with any foundation I've ever used with it. I'm going to let the prime side settle in for a minute while I apply only to this side of my face so we can have a side-by-side comparison. I'm going to do just one pump for now, and we'll see if we need to add any more. BK Beauty 101 foundation brush. And yes, this side, I'm going to start in the middle of my face and work my way out. Natasha says you can apply with your fingers and then go in with a sponge. You can use a brush, whatever works for you. So this is applying very smoothly, very easily. It doesn't feel heavy at all. And I'm having the exact same experience, obviously, as I did yesterday. I'm going to do one more pump because I feel like I need a little bit more just to build it up in this area here where I need a little bit more coverage, and it builds up beautifully. No problem. Nice medium coverage. And the finish, it looks a little bit wet at this point, and it does have that dewiness and that radiance. Let me get up here too. But based on my experience yesterday, that radiance doesn't hang around for too long. It takes a little bit, but it does dry down, and then you're left with a very natural looking complexion. Turn down the lighting just a little bit so that you can see the difference. One side of my face has the foundation on, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing foundation at all. You can't even see a line between this side of my face and this side of my face. The only difference that I see is that this side is perfected. All of my imperfections have been covered up, but I don't have a mask on. It doesn't look like I have a layer of anything on my face. So this is the side that I have the foundation on. This is the side we primed, no foundation. And you can see some redness coming through, some marks I have here, everything that typically I want to cover with a foundation, obviously still showing through. But on this side, I mean, I can see a little bit because this is a medium coverage. I think that if I build this up even more, I could definitely cover this whole area, anything that's peeking through, but that's not the look that I want to go for day to day or really ever. I don't mind a little bit peeking through, but it is buildable because I did have to build it up in this area, but it is a seamless build. It's not on top of itself. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, in terms of blurring, I'm not sure about the blurring. It looks beautiful, don't get me wrong. I can still see some of my pores here. However, this does self-set. So let's give it a second and continue applying on this side of the face. All right, let's get this puppy on this side. In terms of application, having the primer underneath has no effect at all. This just glides so easily. It's very, very lightweight. You don't feel like you have anything on your skin. How gorgeous. Again, most of the imperfections are covered. My redness is covered and something's a little bit peeking through. So I'm going to build up just a little bit right here in this area. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm still using whatever I had on my brush to get my forehead, but I think I need just a little bit more. So I think for me, for my whole face, I need 2 pumps. Personally, that's me. You could probably get away with 1.5. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody. For me, I think 2 pumps is good. Make sure everything is nice and even. Sometimes when I'm doing this on camera, it's hard for me to see in my mirror if I've got it all right. And sometimes I have like some spots missing. But the shade N7 is perfect. If we're shade twins, this will definitely work for you. And if you can notice, the concealer that I have on also in N7 is a tad brighter, but not so far off, but they're not identical either, right? And I'm just going to overlap just a little bit where I have the concealer on either side. I didn't powder my under eyes. Now for the sticky test. I still feel a little bit of tack, nothing crazy at all. Given a few more minutes and as the day goes on, my experience yesterday was that this tack goes away, the glow kind of dies down, you end up with a very natural finish. but I just wanted to check in on the tech because we all know I do not like a sticky foundation. And based on my experience yesterday, it is not a sticky foundation at all. Now, this is a self-setting foundation, but some people do like to powder. Regardless, I'm going to powder the primed side only, just so we can see how it changes the finish and how it looks with powder on. I'm going to use the Givenchy pressed powder in 03, and I'm just going to do a little dusting just on this side of the face. And that brings the tack down a little bit, but you can still, there's still that radiance coming through at this point. It doesn't kill the magic, you know? I'll get under the eye here too, and we will leave it at that. So this is what we look like. Primed side, powdered side, no primer, no powder. My skin looks so good right now. And can you really tell a difference? No, the powdered side, I can tell that I've powdered on this side. The powdered side looks a little more dull, a little less of that glow that we have on this side of the face. But like I mentioned, this will slowly kind of go away. In terms of blurring, I can still see some pores over here. I can, but they don't bother me, less so on the powdered side. So this is where we're at. I do film in natural light, so I'm going to take this wear test for as long as I possibly can. I wore it for over 12 hours yesterday, so I have a really good idea about the longevity, but I wanted to, again, put it to the test. When I do a foundation review and test, typically, I do not add any bronzer or blush or highlighter or anything like that because I don't want anything to affect the finish, the wear, all of that. I want to be able to see how the foundation performs throughout the day without anything else affecting it. So I won't be adding anything else to my face. I'm going to go do my day, and the next time you will see me will be in a check-in. Oh, hi, it's me 4 hours since I was sitting in this chair doing a check-in. Although I have to say I have been catching glimpses of myself in the mirror and just loving what I am seeing. Just want to take a closer look-see here. And everything is looking beautiful, as you can see, and I really hope that you can tell the difference from when I first applied it. This side, this is the non-powdered side. The shine or that radiance that we get when we first apply this foundation has now settled down, and it's not like a flat matte finish. It's a very natural finish. Everything still looks beautiful and evened out. It's not drying. It's not overly hydrating. It's perfectly balanced. Everything just looks so natural on my face. Absolutely zero difference still from the primed and powdered side to the non-primed, non-powdered side. Over here, we look identical. Same still level of coverage. There's been no fading. There has been no settling. Usually I do a lot of this, and usually it's my chin where foundations may fade through no fault of their own, really. It's because I touch this area so much, but none of that here today. Forehead looks beautiful. No shine over here. Again, I can still see a little bit of my pores coming through. Nothing terrible. They're a little bit better on the primed side, I do have to say, but it doesn't look any different than what it did when I first applied. The only major difference is that that radiance has calmed down and it's a much more natural finish now. So we're looking really good. I'm really happy with it so far today, as I was yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to continue on with my day. I will be back at the end of the day as far as I can possibly take this wear test, and I will give you my final thoughts, although I think you probably might already know what I will say. I'll see you in a sec. All right, we're getting near the end of the day. I am at 8 hours right now. If I take a closer look, just as I suspected, everything looks damn near perfect. You know how I mentioned that I know a product is good when I cannot wait to use it again? Well, this would be one of those products. Just gonna get my Bisou Balm back on because I need some color on these lips. This is what I've been wearing all day. This is in the shade Calisson. or Calisson, not sure. All right, so let's talk about this foundation. Yesterday I wore this foundation for the first time for over 12 hours, and it looked just as good when I went to go take it off at the end of the day as it did when I first applied it. So longevity, this 18-hour claim, I'm gonna say is probably true because it hadn't budged. It had not budged after all of that time. It was really impressive. There was not even one part of my face that had faded. There was absolutely no settling into any lines. There was no fading. There was nothing had happened to it. Nothing. And I have found the same today, even though we're only at 8 hours and not at 12 hours plus. I am noticing the exact same performance as I did yesterday, so I can only assume that it would perform the same way. I'm filming this at 8 hours because I'm going to lose sunlight, and I do film in natural light, so I have to do this at this point. But I will have some time. I have to continue editing this video and doing all the other jazz, so I'll continue to wear it. I might even go past 12 hours again. I'll either pin a comment or put it in the description, whatever the case may be, see if we can get past the 12-hour mark 2 days in a row, but I highly doubt that we won't. This foundation's gripped on to my skin, but it's not a heavy, grippy, matte foundation. It's very, very lightweight. I don't feel like I have any foundation on, and I don't feel like I look like I have any foundation on. It's very skin-like. As I mentioned, that radiance kind of fades into a very natural finish, and it looks gorgeous. In terms of the primed and powdered side versus the not, there is really no difference. So no need to powder this because definitely it's self-setting. And a primer you can use if maybe you use an oil control primer or a primer that provides another benefit for you. But on my normal skin, I would forego it. I wouldn't even need to add that layer because there's absolutely no difference in the performance or the look of the foundation. So that's good to know. So just going through the claims, yes, it is a medium buildable formula, check. It is self-setting, check. The claim that it's for all skin types, I can't say for sure because I'm not particularly dry or oily at this point, but it's not overly hydrating and it's not overly drying. It's that perfect balanced right down the middle. So I can see it working for all sorts of skin types. That it's long wearing, definitely. That it's creaseless, definitely. That it's lightweight, 100%. The blurring claim, it does look beautiful. It covers all of my imperfections. It is a medium coverage. I could have built it up even more. I don't mind those little imperfections coming through as long as my skin is evened out. And I think it's done a beautiful job. Would I call it blurring? I don't know if I would call it blurring. I would call it perfecting, definitely, in the most natural way. I just think this foundation looks beautiful on the skin. I am so very happy with it. I will have to do a side-by-side with my Givenchy, the one I love so much and have been loving. It's been my #1 this year. So I think it's time for another side-by-side. I can see myself reaching for this foundation for during the day because it just looks so natural. You cannot tell you have anything on your face, and definitely for nights out for sure. Now I didn't add any bronzer and any blush or highlighter or anything like that because I wanted you to see it without anything interfering with it at all. But please do tell me if you find that helpful or if you would rather see a finished look with the foundation. I'm not sure. For me, I would like to see it without anything. And then I am sure in other videos coming up that I'll use this and you can also see what it would look like with a finished look. Definitely that will be happening, but for the purposes of a standalone review, I think it's helpful to do it this way, but you guys please let me know in the comments what you prefer. If you do find it helpful, I'll continue to do it this way. If the majority of you feel that way, I would like to do what you find most helpful. Everything I have on my face today will be listed and linked in the description box. If you happen to shop from the Natasha Denona website specifically, you can use code PAINTTHEFACE10 for a discount. That is it. That is all that I have for you today. I really hope you found this review helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be amazing. Follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully. Bye.